What's going on, everyone? My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and you are listening to another episode of the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. I am using this podcast to document my journey in real estate and business, while also talking a little bit about travel hacking and personal finance. You can find me everywhere on figuringitoutfinance.com. And then if you are in the Charlotte area, you can go ahead and sign up for my buyers list, where I am going to be sending out my deals, whether I'm wholesaling them, looking to raise money, whatever. You are going to be able to get that sent right into your email if you go on figuringitoutfinance.com. Also, you'll find all of the links to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, because this is going to be tracking my journey from all the way from when I quit my job as a normal W-2 job to where I'm going to be making a real estate business for myself. So we are, deep into that. We just finished up flip number 2, and that is all documented here on the podcast. And it is about to hit the on-ramp for real estate. So super excited for that. And you can tune in and listen basically as I'm going through this process. What am I going to be implementing? What am I doing day to day? And, just how life is changing from when I quit my job and, just started looking at real estate as, this is the option. So that's all going to be documented here. You'll find all of those links on figuringitoutfinance.com, as well as where I post daily on Instagram and TikTok. TikTok is about to get banned, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, but you will be able to find me on Instagram. So the point of today's podcast, it's going to be, the most useful thing I ever did in college, because I think college is a big waste of time. Academically, unless you're going for, something big, like you're trying to be a psychologist, like you're trying to, where you have to go to more school, like being a nurse, because those are jobs that you actually really need to study for, and that's what I think college is for. There's a lot of these athletes, or especially where I went to school at Lenoir-Rhyne, it's like we were taking a bunch of BS classes. I mean, it was absolutely mind-numbing what we had to sit through, and some of the things that we had to go through in college, and I just kept thinking, I'm like, I am getting nothing from this except the just college experience. And I don't think it was a complete waste of time, because it put me into the position where I am now to be able to understand college as it is and think, man, if somebody gave me 3 books while I was, before I got into it, I probably never would have gone to college. But I'm going to hop right into the story here. So the most useful thing I did in college, and, as a freshman coming in, I had 8 a.m.s every single day. I was a dual sport athlete with football and track, so I was balancing sports and school and everything for the first time like this, and my ultimate goal was to be able to work in NASCAR, work in racing. So that was the entire goal of moving down to North Carolina, and I was able to get good enough at pole vault to be able to get a scholarship at Lenoir-Rhyne University, and then be able to go there. I got their record the first year and held on to that for a while, and I think I'm still top 3 on their board, but anyway. But I'm like, all right. So, you need to be able to make a little bit of money in college, and I saw they were hiring students to be able to, do the broadcasting, work the cameras, and do that sort of thing. And I'm like, well, that sounds like something I'm interested in. I'll be able to work a little bit of money, even though it was, just plain like $7.25 an hour, but I enjoyed it, and that's why I did it at that time, because eventually it led into me doing sports broadcasting, and I was doing play-by-play, I was doing the color commentary, and I loved it. I loved doing this every single sport, whether I knew it or not, because I got to learn a lot, but the main point of it was to be able to get experience in public speaking. So I can easily say that job was the most useful thing that I ever did in college, and I'm going to break it down why. So public speaking is really, really tough to be able to even do what I'm doing right now and get on a mic and just talk into nothing. I'm looking at a computer right now, and sometimes I'm looking at myself on the Zoom, and I'm just talking. So that is really, really hard to do because some people, or, it's easy to sit on the couch and watch a basketball game and listen to the commentators. It's smooth, it's easy. And then when you actually get up there and the camera flips onto you and you're just talking, and it's really, really tough. It's like, oh shoot, what do I say? So being able to think really, really quick, being able to kind of, dance around questions, being able to think right on the spot, that translates so much into life rather than what I was going to school for. Because some of the classes, like, we would just literally go out and play cornhole for a couple classes. Like, it was the most ridiculous thing ever, and I couldn't believe I was spending money on it. But being able to work those jobs and be able to do that commentary where I'm talking and speaking and learning how to, think quick on my feet, that is what I could be able to take into, another role. So the public speaking, this helped a ton in interviews because, you're getting questions thrown at you like left, right, and center from different people, different terms you're never using, and you need to be able to think quickly on the spot. And I think that's something that everybody could use in college because, a lot of the majors that people are going for, or I would say most of the people in college aren't really thinking about the job that they're going to be getting outside of college. So a lot of the people at my school, they're working in insurance now, they're taking sales jobs. I see it on LinkedIn, like they're moving job to job to job, and that's fine. But to be able to get those, these type of skills like public speaking, to be able to present well in an interview, you're going to have to take, some type of job that lets you practice this day in and day out. So when I was doing the sports broadcasting, you're learning so many different terms, and you're learning how to just speak and come up with things on the spot. You're learning now how to stutter. You're learning how to pronunciate better and get feedback from the people that are listening to you. Because there were actually quite a few people that listened to those broadcasts, and parents, and they would write in and talk crap about us. So we got to see it from every single side, to be able to take that and take it as a learning lesson, and then, translate that into real interviews. And that's easily the most useful thing I ever did in college. I was also working two other jobs. I did marketing, which was another very useful thing because it wasn't very high level marketing, but it was enough to be able to get a hold of, just grasp the concept of marketing. You're able to watch the numbers, you're putting emails together, you're seeing what clicks on Instagram and Facebook, and you're going to be able to interact with those people and see what they like. And that was firsthand marketing for me, and that's what I did all of my senior year. And very, very low effort type of job. I only think I worked like 5 hours a week, if that, and I really only needed 2. So being able to put those things together and work with bigger companies like ASICS and Brooks for shoe companies, that was pretty cool too, because you're learning how to hop on the phone and just call people. You're learning how to react on Instagram and read those numbers. So working was easily the most useful thing I did in college, and it wasn't for the money, it was for the experience, because I wasn't getting paid a lot, but all those things I knew were going to be able to translate into real life. So now what I'm doing with Figuring It Out Finance on Instagram and TikTok, it's like I've already had experience doing this a little bit to be able to understand what people want to see. So when the numbers come back to me, I'm able to implement that and make changes and edits and, just see what people are liking. So a lot of that is common sense too. I'm not going to aside from that, but I figured that this would be something that, people going into college would really need to consider is, don't just take that small job where you're going to sit at a desk and do admin work for like $7.25 an hour. Try and do a job on campus to where you're learning these life skills like public speaking, like doing data and research, if that's going to be, what you want to do. Or if you don't know what you want to do, just go for something that's going to be able to teach you life skills, because it's going to be well worth it in the end of the day. So I'm going to leave off with that. And this is going to be the end of the episode number 102 of the Figuring It Out Finance, but make sure you tune into the next episode, because I'm going to be talking about one of the communities that I'm in right now, and that's Deal Flow Academy. So be sure to tune in next Tuesday for that episode, where I'm going to be breaking down a little bit about what I've learned and how I'm using it in my real estate business. So I appreciate you tuning into this episode of the Figuring It Out Finance podcast, number 102, about what I did in college and the most useful things I did. We'll see you next time.